Alright, time to get started. So the goal for today, right now, is to reverse engineer the charging status of this Hyundai when it's connecting to a charger. So we're going to do some CAN data reverse engineering using a set of tools, specifically a professional grade scan tool and then some custom hardware. So first thing we need to do is get over to the charger so we can mess with it. Hopefully no one's there. We'll probably be disconnecting and reconnecting to the charger quite a few times, which might look a little suspicious, but that is okay. So, still getting used to this vehicle, though guess there's not really a need to get used to it because I will not have access to it not much longer. Okay, let's see here. It's a beautiful Friday. Okay, cool. Both chargers are open and available. So I don't actually know where the charge port is on this thing. I assume it's in the back. And I think it came with the Tesla adapter, though this is not Tesla, this is CCS. I do love the 360 view camera. That's one thing I wish my Tesla had. It's, I don't know, a lot more useful than the 3D visualizations. I'm going on a ramble. Okay, so now we need to get set up. MacBook out for programming. Our scan tool tablet. It's the Launch X431. I think that's all I need from that. Okay. Next thing I need to do is get the steering wheel out of the way because there's not a ton of space in here. And we're gonna scoot the seat all the way back. Let's get the AC up a little bit. Alright, charge port is not on this side like it is on Tesla. This is it. That is it. I think I could still be in this spot. Let's find out. That will reach, but I think I'm going to park in the other spot just because it's a little easier. Okay. It's not crash. Cool. Yeah, we're good. I'll open that when I need to. don't need to do that yet. It's still getting set up. Okay, on to our other parts of the tool set here. We have our wireless scan tool device. It basically just works as a bridge. It sends the CAN data through Bluetooth to the actual tablet, as well as any requests. It's quite a sturdy unit, and I think you could do some things with it standalone, but not that much. I'm just going to leave that in there. And then I have it connected to a splitter, which we will absolutely need for reverse engineering, and then an extender so that I have some more space to work with. So we can actually throw all this over there. And there's the port. Perfect. Scoop this wire out of the way, and we're set up. Okay. Still kind of learning the car a bit, I think. Yeah, that's good. So it's just going to connect to the scanner here. Just verifying basic connection. So the first thing I'm going to do is see what sort of data points are available, and then from there I will dial in exactly what I want to reverse engineer. It really depends on what there is here for my work use case. It's the US version, the EV6. Turn that down a bit. Okay, we're going to enter all the systems here. Now we probably only need to enter the battery management system, but just in case we need to enter others, this will kind of speed up that process. This car came with errors. We're going to ignore that for now. Probably the vehicle charging management system. So it's likely not the battery management system we need. Let's see what we have. Yeah, this tool really likes always being connected to the internet, and I hate that. But it does work without the internet. Okay, quite a few things here. I'm just gonna start checking stuff. think I'm good. I'm gonna rest it here and plug it in and see what changes. So it's out of the way. Okay, now let's check the data here. Alright, I just saw it switch, and all that stuff's coming up. Looking good. Okay, so probably the main thing I want to check is charging connector status. And AC charging state. Not sure if the charging connector status will be enough or if we need to get both of those. It's easiest if I work one at a time versus multiple things. So let's just start with the charging connector status. So I'm going to go back, unselect everything, select just that, and before I actually start that, I'm going to get connected to the splitter here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do in terms of actually analyzing the data is hook in my device. There we go. Okay, so it's running a program right now that I made that helps filter out the UDS requests to see what's exactly being said between the scan tool and the car. So it should log both the requests and the responses, as well as things like the decoded DID and whatnot. So let's enable it. Let's see, what was the value we were going to look at? AC charging state is 1, but I think charging connector status is going to be our most important one. So we can already see our data is coming in now. We are connected, obviously. So when I made this, it was to decode speed, but speed's been decoded. So this is DID. I'm going to stop it from auto-scrolling. So we're sending a 744 request, getting a 74C response with the DID of E003. So I'm going to now write that down and text edit. Request is 0x744. Our response is 0x74C. And the DID equals 0x. E003. I think speed was E004. Do a little bit more searching. And I'll also save the SVC. (0x22), but I mean that's just read by identifier, read data stream. That's what the 0x22 is, so that's going to be standard, but I might as well write it down. And this says VCS, but that's because I was looking into the vehicle control system before. Now we're in the vehicle charging management system, VCMS. So a lot of this is saying stuff that's not quite necessary, but now we can move on. There's some additional data that we can actually derive from this, even though it is set up to try to parse speed. So we can see the width is 2, so it's a 2-byte data set. It is signed, it's big endian, and using that we can kind of formulate what we think the response will be, and then what we'll do is we'll request that and test. So we'll see what is the value when it is disconnected and what's the value when it is connected. And technically I could do that by just looking at the raw data, but I'm going to put together a small program that just kind of links the different on-off states to a serial message saying either connected or disconnected. It may or may not work. If it doesn't work, I'll also have it print the raw data. That way we can actually decipher why it's not working. And honestly, it's just a guess right now at which data binary representation means what. I think given it's 0 and connected, 0 is looking like it's get the graph view back. It's looking like it's connected, and so I'm assuming a value of 1 means it's disconnected, and then there might be another value for unknown or some other data. 2 bytes is quite a lot for a binary value, so I assume there's some other data for this DID of E003. So I'm gonna write that program real quick and then flash it and run. Okay, so I programmed in a quick ISOTP sender as well as parsing for it. And I made it configurable so we can modify this stuff if we want to explore other DIDs, but the logic for actually parsing the charging stuff is going to be specific, just like the speed stuff was. Anyways, it's flashed right now, serial monitor's open. I'm still requesting it on the scan tool. So first let's connect it while the scan tool is still requesting it, just so that we can test the parsing logic. And looks like we're good. Cool. Alright, I'm going to disconnect this, clear this, and then I'm going to stop requesting it on the scan tool. And just hitting back stops that, but I'll go back twice. Okay, we're going to plug it in and see. Okay, so we are requesting and decoding it correctly as far as I can tell. Now we disconnect the car. So I'm going to leave this running, and then disconnect it. So leave that right there. I'm going to run out here. And I don't actually know how to disconnect it. If I have to do anything particular, can I stop it from here? Settings maybe? Nope, that's not it. Okay, let me go back to the car and see if there's something I can do in the, you know what, I'm just gonna unplug it. Okay, we're unplugged. Let's see. Okay, we are still reading connected. And it's still outputting the same -1 raw. Let's see here. we're going to... Interesting. That's bugging out. It's not normal. Let's close the charge port and see if that does anything. Still doing this. So I wonder if it's my frame request sending. So I'm going to disconnect this. Connecting that, it looks like it fixed it. So there is a bug in my logic, my request logic here. Interesting. Okay, well, back to the drawing board. I'm going to see what part of my request is screwing this up and then revalidate. But first I'm going to use the bathroom. Okay, so after lots of trial and error, I think I have something. So the previous several attempts did not work. The initial issue was I was sending my request frames on my device, but I was also still sending them through the scan tool. And so the flow control frames and tester present frames were clashing with each other, and that gave that weird behavior. So I now made that my device completely passive, so it is just monitoring the scan tool or the responses from the scan tool. I can re-implement the sending. That I don't think I ever had an issue with. It was just parsing. So we should be good now. That wasn't the only issue. The other big issue was I was looking at the wrong index. So I took several log files. I was focusing on field index 3 because I thought that's what the value was, but that stays constant when I was parsing it out between disconnected and connected. And so then I output all of the bytes from these messages, and it goes across several because it's a multi-frame message. And there were a lot of changes between the two, but it was difficult to find one change that was steady on one, and then it changed when it was disconnected and steady disconnected. So I have finally found a bit that I think is most likely the one, after running several analysis programs and really Python analysis programs. So we can see here byte 29 bit 0 is 1. I think that means it is connected. So I'm going to disconnect it and see if that changes to a 0. What's also weird is byte 41 also seems to kind of mirror it, with bit 0 also being 1. So it could be that these two are just replicas of each other. It's just a straight mirror. So we're going to find out. So I'm going to hop out and disconnect it now. And again, we're looking mainly at just this section right here, where it equals 1. So let's disconnect it and see. I mean, shouldn't see the same behavior on the scan tool where it was oscillating, because we're not sending anything. So it's 1. Now let's disconnect it. So plug it in here, just in case it auto closes. Alright, please be 0. And yep, it's 0. And it's also 0 for them here. I'll stop it from doing that. So right here, byte 29 bit 0 and byte 41 bit 0. And those seem to be staying consistent. So that's everything we need in terms of reverse engineering to figure out what the actual signal is for that. Now we just need to program in our parsing to basically not do all this debug logic and just focus on that one bit. So I'm going to program that up, re-implement the request, that way we don't need to use the scan tool, and then we should have a single firmware that will constantly poll and be able to dynamically switch between connected and disconnected based off of byte 29 bit 0. So I will get to that. Okay, here's the sketch. It is kind of easy after you do this for so long that you have so many different versions of sketches that do similar things to take components from each thing, so it's quite fast to put this together. It's just figuring out the small details and the differences between them that takes a while. Anyways, going over it real quick. So we have our request ID, our response ID, so what we're sending and then what we're looking for, and then our DID for what we need. Then I have some handlers for the ISO-TP response parsing, and then some helpers for sending the CAN message and then sending everything we need in terms of the actual service request. So we have our 0x22, which is read data by identifier, and then I mean, most of this is pretty standard. This is just parsing the ISO-TP frame, and then we check if it's single frame, or if it's consecutive frame, or single frame. If it's single frame, we can just handle that. Otherwise, we read that it's first frame, and then we can parse first frame, consecutive, till it ends. Then we have our setup, which is just initializing the actual CAN controller. Our interval for when we're polling, which I have set to 2. We make sure it starts with 0x62, and then we can do bitwise to get exactly what we want. Specifically byte 29, and then here's we're getting our Boolean true or false value from the exact bit that we need, which is bit 1 of byte 29. And so if it doesn't equal 0, that's just setting the bool true or false, and then we map that to connected or disconnected. I've not tested this yet, so let's flash it. But I figured I should do this all on camera. And then I haven't plugged it in yet. I don't like flashing it while it's left plugged in. I've experienced weirdness before, so just to be safe. And right now it's disconnected. So I'm gonna clear that, and let's plug it in. And nothing. That's not supposed to happen. It should be, let me check. It should be printing regardless. Everything's set up right. Let's add some debugging. So we're just gonna put that here to see if we're getting responses. We can also move the ISO reset. Don't know how much of a difference. Alright, let's let's reflash and see. And then if this still doesn't work, I will have to go check the first script I wrote that it does work and see what I am missing. This one is like pretty stripped down just because I didn't need all the debugging logic, and I thought I brought everything over, but I'm probably just missing something. Okay, so it is reading responses back, but it's reading them back very slow, not at 4 times per second. So I think there's a message that was still going through even without requests, and I think that's what this is. Yeah, I'm gonna do some debugging and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with hopefully a potential fix. So the issue is when I tried to make a minimal version, I stripped way too much out. Specifically, the flow control. I was not sending a flow control frame. So what that means is that I was requesting, parsing the first frame, and then not sending a flow control frame. So it was not sending me consecutive frames after that, meaning I wasn't getting the data I needed. So I've re-implemented that, as well as a couple other things that probably aren't necessary but should help, at least with other issues. So let's see, very similar to before in terms of the actual parsing of the connected status, but hopefully this time it works and doesn't reject everything. Just flashing it now. Okay. Let's plug her in. And there we go. Oh, it froze for a second. But it seems to be working. At least I think. Let's hop out and plug in the car and see. So it's reading disconnected. And going to very quickly okay, let's see. And we're still reading disconnected. Oh, it says connected now. There we go. It waited till it said charging started. There's a speaker, I guess, that says that. Yay! Okay, I thought it wasn't working at first, but it just took a second. So there we go. We reverse engineered the request and response for the charge indicator, or the charge status. So let's disconnect it now and make sure that it's still working. Okay. Disconnected. We are all set. That's one signal down and however many other we need to go. Whew, that feels good. Okay, so now that I have this, I will save it and then implement it wherever need be. But yeah, that's typically my UDS workflow. It takes a while. This was a couple hours for one signal. Usually it's much faster than that. But this was my first time trying to decode something from the from a charge management system. So cool. There's a lot of other cool data points that maybe I'll get to. I'll see what's kind of necessary here, but yeah, hopefully this was educational and helpful. Don't think I have anything else to say. Hope it was also enjoyable to watch. Bye-bye. What we are currently polling via UDS. This one took a bit longer than I was expecting, but disconnected, and then we can plug it in. Alright, we're plugged in. And there we go. And I'm not sure if you heard the car, there's a little speaker that says charging started. So we could tell if it's connected or not. We can also tell if it's charging or not, the voltage, a whole bunch of other stuff. I reversed as much as I can in the time I have with the vehicle, so I'll probably end up returning it pretty soon, but there's a lot more to reverse if it's needed. I guess we'll see what Emovi wants. But yeah, there we go. Oh, I guess I'll show disconnection now. So it currently says connected. We'll unplug it. And then head back over here, and it is disconnected.